Coach, let me ask you about family really quickly. So It's kind of a new year. Every year is a new year, obviously, but with your boys growing up and, that adds some extra things on the schedule, and I'm sure the wife is looking forward to it. But I want to ask you, how this summer was a little different for you with family. You got the boys now that are in the strength and conditioning, and I'm sure they'll be participating in the summer football camp that's coming up in about a week. Just how all that has been different for you.
It's been really cool. So they're going into twin boys, going into seventh grade, Case and Cannon, and I've worked strength and conditioning for my whole career, but this is the first time for me to have my sons there with me, actually participating in the camp, and so it's been a blast, and it's been fun. I know them and all their little buddies, and it's been fun to be able to be on them constantly. Just watching them, but more than anything, it's meant a lot to me. It's something I've looked forward to for a long time, and so to have them there for the first time, it's been fun.
And Carly, Coach, your wife, and her role in all this, obviously, a coach's life is pretty busy, and especially when you're the head football coach. And now you're navigating a couple of boys that are going to be playing in the junior high level. Just, how much has she looking forward to this? Is she supporting all of this? And, how much fun is it for the Brooks family right now?
She's been great. My wife, Carly, has been awesome, because it's such a busy time. Even though it's summer, it's a busy time for all of us. And I feel like I'm constantly going from one thing to the next, and so are the boys. So she's been awesome. I'll bring them early in the morning to work out, and she comes and picks them up. And then most of the summer we were taking them from there to basketball camp or to baseball camp, and she's just been great about it. Overall, we're both looking forward to it and excited about them being at Williams and kind of taking the next step for us.
This is in regards to just athletics as a whole, and either on the female or male side. You mentioned your boys going to basketball camp and other things like that. How important is it, Coach, to a football program that you see kids involved in other athletic activities, whether it be basketball, track, wrestling, whatever it is?
Yeah, we have a ton of kids here at Rockwall High School that play multiple sports, and I think that happens because we try to foster that. We encourage it. We want kids to do that. I say it all the time, but kids only get to do this one time, and so we want them to be able to do as much as possible if they're capable. Well, in order to do that, we all have to work together as head coaches, and so I think that's something that makes this place really special, is that we do that and we work together, and kids get the opportunity to play multiple sports, and I think the end result of that is that we're really good across the board at every sport. As evident by the Lone Star Cup standings that came out. Finished 8th out of 249 schools.
That's incredible.
The best finish that we've ever had at Rockwall High School. So this is the prime time for Rockwall High School athletics. It's the best it's ever been right now, and we're right in the middle of it.
This coaching staff, you obviously have to bring in some new ones, and coaches take on different roles.
Yeah.
Can you talk about just some of the changes that we'll see here in Rockwall?
Yeah, it's a big part of the profession is helping guys and wanting to help them and see them grow, and so that's been a big deal to me. I'm incredibly grateful for the time that Coach Colvin was here. He is and will always be one of my best friends, and so the chance to get to work every day with your best friend, that is something I definitely cherish. That time, those 4 years. Coach Reed, I coached Coach Reed, and so I've known him for a long time. He was the quarterback my first year as the offensive coordinator, and so those guys mean a ton to me. And so for me to see them get the opportunity, that's what it's all about. Helping guys grow and helping them get opportunities, and they earn that, and we're super excited for them. The other end of that is here, and so now guys get new opportunities here. Cale Barnes getting the chance to move up and become the offensive coordinator. Well, Cale has been here for the last 11 years that I've been here, and he's worked his way up, and so that's the other side of it, is getting to see guys get opportunities here, and he has proven in no time that he is well prepared for that, and it's been really cool to see that. And then got to hire some new guys, which is really cool because and it just kind of keeps you sharp. It keeps you, now we've got some new guys that are going to have the chance to learn the Rockwall way, and so those guys are going to contribute in their way, and we're going to continue to grow. And so it's been cool. Changes can be tough for people, but I think for us it's been exciting and encouraging.
Coach, you talk about the Rockwall way and the JFND spirit that exists, and so many times we see it on the field from these athletes and coaches, just able to just persevere and come through in tough situations, and that really defines what the JFND spirit's all about. When you talk about these younger kids coming up and even new coaches that come in, how fast do you see them adapt to that JFND spirit and want to just be part of all of that?
Yeah, from a coaching perspective, it's been neat. Those guys, I think that they feel it their very first day here, because every one of those guys individually came up to me and said, "Coach, this is great. This place is different." So I think they can feel it from day one. When it comes to kids, moving into middle school and then middle school to high school, it's just kind of the culture that they get used to. I was talking with one of the coaches on our staff today, and we're just talking about the numbers and just how there's more kids involved than there's ever been, and I think that can be attributed to them growing up and doing it. And so now they've been, a senior to be has done strength and conditioning as a 7th grader, 8th grader, 9th grader. They've done it every year, and it just becomes what we do. And so I think when they get here, it's kind of the expectation, and they know what it's like to be a Yellow Jacket because they kind of worked up to it.
Coach, we're talking with Coach Brooks, the head football coach here at Rockwall. Coach, I heard you kind of talking to the kids, and I've heard you multiple times say it, just about their preparation and going home and doing the right things as far as hydrating and eating and resting. What is the importance of that? Obviously, it's important, but what's your message to the kids and to the parents? It's like, hey, we need to take care of ourselves when we go home.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just about trying to get them to grasp that at a younger age. I didn't know that stuff when I was in high school, and I often think back and I think, man, what if I would have known that or done that? And so to me, it's trying to convey that to them and help them to understand the importance of getting good sleep and hydration and nutrition and all that. And we understand that they're in high school and you're not always going to get through to all of them, but my goal is always just, man, if I can get them to be thinking like that in high school, then they're just kind of ahead of the game for the rest of their life as far as taking care of themselves.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about football and this coming up year. Looking at your schedule, you travel quite a bit this year, and how you navigate that. You're used to obviously traveling, but when you talk about Lake Travis, going to Austin, I believe you go to Longview, and then Legacy. That's going to be really good for next year, right? Because now you get to be home. But what's it like, for you guys trying to navigate a schedule early on that there's some traveling?
Yeah, I think what I try to do is relate it to games that we're hoping to play later on. At some point in the playoffs, we're going to have to travel, and so I'll be talking about that even week 2 when we play Lake Travis. Hey, we're going to have to travel down to Austin round 3, this area round 3. So we just try to use that kind of as preparation. And then later on, when you get to that point, you're able to point back, hey, remember, this is kind of the schedule that we were on. And so try to use it as much as possible. It definitely takes some work when you're putting together the schedules and bus requests and all that type of stuff. But I think, some of those trips are some of the best memories that these kids get. So maybe a pain at times for me, but it'll be good memories for them.
And I'd like to get your thoughts on playing Heat this year in district. So normally that's like the first game we see to open district play. You play them later in November. Mm-hmm. Is that a little bit different for you? A little bit different wrinkle? We know how much effort and it goes into that game. Is it something that you're looking forward to play them later in the season?
Yeah, I think so. It's been it's just random how that's decided, and it just so happened to be the first week the last several years. I think both Rodney and I would agree that we would like to play it later, like we're doing. It's going to be different for sure, but I think looking forward to it, getting a little bit more of the season under our belt before we get to that point. I think it'll be a good change.
Coach, let's talk about a little bit of player personnel. So one of the glaring things, obviously, you lose a big running back, and we wish him all the way at UTEP. Yeah. What's the running back position like for you, and how much you loving what you're seeing from the kids right now?
Well, it's talking specifically about running back. What's so cool about having a player like Ashton, and I would say this about other guys that we've had in the past, like Jackson Smith, their impact that they make on this program goes beyond them actually being here. So just the way that Ashton carried himself, the way that he practiced, the way that he treated his teammates, that has made an impact on the guys behind him. And so you look at a kid like Jameer Wilson. Well, Jameer was backing up Ashton for the last year. Well, he spent every day around him, every meeting, every practice. And so I watched Jameer in the spring, and it's just interesting. They're different people, different players, but just interesting to see how much of an impact Ashton made. So yes, it's a big hole to fill when you have a player that's that good, but Jameer has watched and worked and prepared himself to be able to fill that role. And then we've got some young guys who have had phenomenal summers, guys that will step up. So I'm really excited about that position, even though we're losing, one of the best to ever play here.
Let's move to the quarterback position. Obviously, Landon Lock, and the pedigree that he has, and the commitment, and the guy, the leader that he is, on and off the field. I looked at Braden, some of the things he did. He's got 3,000 yard seasons, 3,600 yard season. Yeah. Is this an offense that's set up obviously for Landon to kind of repeat something like that, to have a 3,000, 3,500 yard season?
Yeah, I feel like he's capable of anything, and he's just worked so hard to get to this point. And I think everything that you need to know about that kid, you saw last year. He's a Division I quarterback who was asked to split time because we felt like that was best for the team. There's not a lot of kids that would approach that with the type of attitude that he did, and he had a phenomenal season, and it was best for the team at that point. And so I'm just so excited for him to get the opportunity as a senior to be the man, and he is capable of anything on the football field. I mean, he's as good as I've ever seen. And so, I think he's going to have a huge year, and I'm excited to see him do it.
So, Coach, you've been blessed with some quarterbacks over the years, especially since we started. You talk about Braden and of course Landon, but then Mason and Mr. Bennett. I mean, do you feel like there's a window here that it's like, hope we're looking to capitalize on this, because we think we've had the tools to make a deep run. We're talking about state semifinals. Do you think there's a window here, or do you think just maybe the program's just bigger, like, hey, we can roll deep with whoever we have?
I just feel like those guys that we've had, they are obviously really good players, and then they're also a product of what we do here and the way that we do things. And so what's interesting about those guys is each of those players is a little bit different. Lake is different from Braden, and Braden is different from Jacob Clark, who we had in the past, or Will Reed. They're all a little bit different, and what I'm so proud of that we've done here at Rockwall is take advantage of those kids' strengths. But I think the common theme amongst all of those kids has been that they care so much about being the quarterback at Rockwall High School, and it really, really means something. And so, I think this year and beyond, that's going to continue, because we've got kids that it really means something to be the quarterback here, and they put in the amount of work that it takes to be successful. And so, I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about the years after this, because we've got kids that are ready and going to take the next step.
The football team as a whole, defense, offense, the talent that you have, who are some names, who are some guys, and I'm sure you can go through a long list. Just who are some guys that's like, hey, these are the leaders, specifically captains, who are some guys that are out there. It's like, hey, they're in for a big year this year.
Talked about Landon already. He's a captain, and we know what we're going to expect from him. And Tristan Gooch, phenomenal year last year. I think underrated by people in the state. But he does his talking on the field, and the proof is there on the field. And I know that he's going to have another really big year. Tristan is a captain, has been voted as a captain for us also. He's had a great summer, so really excited about seeing him. Cam Johnson is returning on the offensive line. He was voted as a captain. Played guard for us last year, and he'll play tackle this year. I don't think that he's missed 1 minute of strength and conditioning this summer. That tells you what kind of kid he is. So really, really fired up about him and getting to see him in a leadership role this year. Let's see who else. Leander Parrish was voted as a captain. Leander moved here in January, jumped right in. It's like he's always been here. What a great attribute for a kid to be able to come to a really good program and just to fit right in, and then to be voted as a captain after having just been here for a short amount of time. That says a lot about that kid. So he's gonna make a major impact for us at DN. Across from him, Edwin Gonzalez played a bunch for us last year, moving into a starting role this year. He also was voted as a captain, so that is a real position of strength for us. 2 captains on the D line. That's a really big deal. So those guys, our captain group, just really, really excited about those guys and seeing them continue to develop. Chase Awunze coming back at right tackle. I mean, I one of the best linemen that we've ever had here. So seeing him take the next step this summer, he was pretty dominant as a junior. So I mean, there's I don't know how much more he can do, but I think he can. I think he's going to continue to show us what he can do. So excited to have him back. Defensive side of the ball, Jack Duckworth played a bunch for us last year at corner. He's going to have the chance to play both ways a little bit this year. Excited to see him. Will Ashworth was a backup to Jake Overstreet last year. He's going to be stepping into a starting role. He's had a great summer. Caden Warren at hash safety played a ton last year. So the theme is kind of seeing those guys take the next step. Eric Gabriel would be another guy at corner who played a lot last year, going to have a chance to be a starter this year. So kind of taking the next step for him. Cam Marsh is another guy. Man, it's crazy that he's been on varsity since he was a sophomore. It just seems like it has flown by, and so he's going to have a major role in a lot of different ways. Excited about all those guys who were varsity players but kind of taking the next step. That's kind of that group, and so excited to see what they do. The H-back position, didn't even mention them. Getting Cale Anderson back from injury, he was a big time player for us before he got hurt, so getting him back is huge. Jackson Stoner stepped up in his place, and I think it exceeded expectations. So to have those 2 guys back, and then a young guy at Jet Lamb coming to that position, that's going to be a real position of strength for us. And so really excited about that group. And I mean, I could go on, go on and on.
Your offense, it can be some things that are going on, a lot of motion, a lot of really fast and things like that.
Yeah.
How much time do you guys spend just like, okay, putting in new wrinkles, different looks and things like that? And then the challenging part is like, getting everyone up to speeds, very quickly. Do you enjoy that part of it? Is it mad scientist stuff where you're just up all night and you're just thinking of different ways to do different things?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the job. And for us, it's kind of a constant process, from the day that last season ends, and then you start thinking of ideas and writing them down. And then, to your point, when it comes to implementing that stuff, I think we do a really good job of that here. And our guys go through a pre-spring period in their off season where they're learning and we're installing stuff, and then we go to spring football and they get a chance to learn it again. And then we go to the fall and they get a chance to learn it again. So I just think we do a good job of implementing that. And I think, like I said, we got tons of ideas between our everybody on our staff, but we do a good job of making sure that it all fits within our system. and it's a great system that's been built over the last 11 years and a lot of guys involved. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do it. It's fun to put it all together and see like what your identity is going to be as a team that given year.
You're breeding a couple of football minds. So how many times do Case or Cannon throw a play on your desk and just say, hey, maybe he'll look at it?
Oh yeah, all the time. They've been doing it since they were little. There was one, I'm trying to remember. There was a trick play that Case had found. I think he was watching a game or something, and he drew it up, and it's funny. I think he was shocked when I said, "All right, we'll do it." And he was like, he's like, "What?" I'm like, "We'll do it." And so we ran it. I can't. I'm trying to remember the game, but ended up scoring a touchdown on the play. So he thinks he's something now. Like he thinks he's an OC, in the waiting. So.
Do you get into the NCAA football, the game?
Yeah. So I haven't yet. So. My sons are at camp right now, and they're the ones that have been, they've been talking about it. So we're definitely going to get into it. I was really into it as a college kid.
Yeah.
We had a dynasty going, and everybody in the house was in it, and it was like part of our routine. We'd go to workout, go to class, come back and play NCAA football. So it's pretty cool to see that it's back. I'm pumped about playing it. I haven't done it yet.
So if you get a chance when you do play it and you make yourself a player, what are you giving yourself a rating at Texas A&M?
If I got to make myself, I got to make myself in the 90s. Come on. What's funny about that as a walk-on? So when I used to play it in college as a walk-on, well, they didn't have the complete roster on there, so I'd have to get on there and create myself, and I'd boost the stats a little bit, throw myself in there as a starter.
We're talking Coach Brooks, head football coach at Rockwall. Coach, all right, so you move closer to August 12th, and that's when things go live.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys have been building all summer and looking forward to it. What's the key this year? What's the motto? What are we preaching, and to try and take that next step?
So we started our off season with a theme of relentless pursuit. It's something that you hear a lot as a coach, and a lot of times it's applied to defensive football. Relentless pursuit of the football. Well, I got to thinking about it going into off season, and I thought that really applies to everything for us, and everything that you want, any of your goals. We're preaching relentless pursuit of that. You're never giving up on what it is that you want. And so to me, it was relentless pursuit of, you name it, you fill in the blank. You're a defensive player, it's relentless pursuit of the football. Offensive player, it's relentless pursuit of the end zone. As a team, it's relentless pursuit of a state championship. Maybe for individual players, it's, hey, a relentless pursuit of becoming a starter, or somebody that's on the field. And so that was something to me. I felt like we can apply that to anything that we're doing. So that's been the theme, and so we've been, really, really hammering that home hard with our guys, and just that theme of relentlessly pursuing all the goals that we have for ourselves.
Coach Brooks, head football coach at Rockwall. Coach, looking forward to it. We always appreciate the time. We appreciate the support, and it's going to be a fun year as always.
Yeah.
So wish you all the best. Good luck, and wish you lots of health and lots of wins.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Looking forward to it. Thanks for coming out.